ability.
Longer intros have never done anyone any good, so I'll keep this one short. Now, we've gathered here to explore the 13 most wicked alternate versions of Venom the Symbiote, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Oh, and the video is spoiler-free for Venom the Last Dance. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. It's a small click for you, but it means a lot to us. Thank you. Let's begin. Ultimate Venom. In the Ultimate Universe, Eddie Brock was the son of a brilliant scientist who collaborated with Richard Parker to develop a protoplasmic substance known as the suit, originally intended to cure cancer. However, Trask Industries seized the project, seeing its potential as a weapon, because why not? Unaware of his father's struggles, Eddie became friends with Peter Parker, Richard's slightly younger son. After both their parents died in a plane crash, Eddie lived with his grandparents and lost touch with Peter. His grandfather later gave him a frozen sample of the suit hidden by his father. Determined to connect with his lost parent, Eddie immersed himself in studying the sample. This pursuit led him to Empire State University, where he worked closely with Dr. Kurt Connors on what they called the Venom Project. While Eddie excelled academically, his personal life was falling apart. He grappled with a quick temper and couldn't form relationships with women, leading to isolation. When Peter reconnected with him, Eddie was thrilled to have a friend again. He shared the secret of the suit, but soon saw Spider-Man wearing a black suit on the news. Feeling betrayed and frustrated by a failed attempt to win over Gwen Stacy, Eddie rushed to the lab. He found Peter trying to destroy the remaining sample and felt that Peter was taking away his father's last legacy. Peter warned him about the suit's dangerous and violent nature, but Eddie didn't listen. After Peter left, Eddie used another hidden sample on himself. The painful process may have damaged his mind. Gaining powers similar to Spider-Man's, but with tentacle-like webs, he killed a custodian and 2 security guards. He began stalking Peter, believing the suit craved him, and sought to force Peter to take it. During a confrontation, Eddie was caught in police crossfire and was seemingly killed by electrocution. However, his belongings vanished from his dorm, leading Peter to suspect he was still alive. In the video game, it was confirmed that Eddie, now known as Venom, survived. To sustain himself, he started feeding on others, causing widespread chaos. He battled not only Spider-Man, but also Wolverine, Shocker, Silver Sable, and the military. Venom 2099. The Venom symbiote's history parallels that of its Earth 616 counterpart. Initially brought to Earth by Spider-Man, it was rejected by him and later bonded with Eddie Brock. Together, they oscillated between roles as a supervillain and a protective anti-hero. When the Dark God Null attacked Earth, intending to destroy it, the symbiote helped defeat its creator and believed him to be dead. Decades afterward, the symbiote was captured by the corporation Alchemax. Dr. Russell, a scientist there, dissected it into pieces for use in a super soldier program disguised as medical treatment. Alea Bell, a teenage girl with a severely burned left arm, became the first test subject. The fragment of the symbiote implanted in her gradually regained consciousness and communicated its situation. Feeling sympathy, Alea agreed to help it reunite with its other parts, on the condition that it would leave her once restored. While infiltrating Alchemax's lab, Alea encountered security guards. The symbiote killed them, arguing it was necessary for their protection and that survival required ruthless actions. When Dr. Russell severely wounded Alea, the symbiote summoned its scattered pieces and fully bonded with her. It then compelled Dr. Russell to erase all data on the symbiote before consuming him in revenge for dissecting it. Upon awakening, Alea was appalled by the symbiote's deeds and insisted they act heroically. Reluctantly, the symbiote agreed. The next day at school, Alea transformed into Venom to intimidate a bully named Bether. Mid-confrontation, the symbiote briefly fell under Null's control, but was jolted back to awareness by a ringing school bell. Alarmed, it informed Alea that Null was still alive and present on Earth. Later, they watched news reports of Michael Eric attacking Alchemax Commerce Plaza using the Carnage symbiote. Venom urged Alea to confront this new threat, but she initially refused. Her stance changed when her father returned home mortally wounded. Desperate, Alea asked Venom to heal him, agreeing to let the symbiote take full control of her body in return. Venom accepted, setting the stage for their continued struggle against emerging dangers. The Thing's venom. Ben Grim, known as the Thing from the Fantastic Four, has always seen himself as a monster due to his transformation into a rock-like being. In an alternate timeline featured in Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man number 304 by Marvel Comics, he becomes an even more terrifying creature when he merges with the Venom Symbiote. In this story, Spider-Man lands in a different reality where Norman Osborn has turned his goblin formula into a health product, gaining public trust. Osborn supports his son Harry's bid for the presidency, and after Harry wins, a totalitarian regime is established. Superheroes who aren't killed or enlisted into Osborn's forces are forced underground, forming a resistance movement. To return to his original timeline, Spider-Man frees Dr. Doom from prison. In response, Osborn releases one of his most formidable soldiers, a symbiote-infected Ben Grim. This version of Grim combines his immense strength with the symbiote's powers, becoming a monstrous villain unlike any seen before. He confronts Spider-Man, Captain America, and Doctor Strange simultaneously. His enhanced abilities and massive size initially give him the upper hand, posing a significant threat to the heroes. Grim's transformation illustrates how much more perilous the Marvel Universe could have been if events had unfolded differently during the Secret Wars, with him instead of Spider-Man bonding with the symbiote. His new form is the most monstrous he has ever taken, featuring spiky armor and numerous pouches, combining his rocky exterior with the symbiote's abilities. Despite the fierce battle, the heroes managed to defeat Grim's Venom form. This narrative highlights that while the Earth 616 version of Ben Grim grapples with seeing himself as a monster, his Venom-infused counterpart demonstrates what a true monster can be. The symbiote-infected Thing becomes a powerful adversary who nearly overpowers the Avengers on his own. Ghost Rider. Robbie Reyes became the Ghost Rider when he was possessed by the demonic spirit of his uncle, Eli Morrow. He managed to control his uncle's spirit and used his powers for good. His life took a darker yet more exciting turn when he encountered the Venom Symbiote, an alien parasite that had once bonded with Spider-Man. The symbiote's connection disrupted the delicate balance within Robbie, which basically sparked a fierce internal struggle among himself, the demon, and the alien for control over his body. The conflict concluded when Eli Morrow and the symbiote allied against Robbie to seize control and dub themselves Ghost Rider. You know, like host was a play on the word ghost, but Venom style, because that's what Venom does, takes over hosts. United, they went on a mission to hunt down evildoers, consuming their sins and souls. Their first target was the mad scientist Dr. Calvin Zabo. Ghost Rider massacred an army of assassins sent to kill Zabo and eliminated the shield agents guarding him. After defeating Zabo, they fed his soul to their symbiote-enhanced Hell Charger. Ghost Rider was later teleported to a post-apocalyptic world by a venomized version of Doctor Strange. There, a venomized Captain America informed him that he had been summoned to fight in a war against an alien species that was consuming symbiotes and their hosts. Despite his formidable powers, Ghost Rider was eventually overtaken by a creature known as a Poison. The newly formed Poison Ghost Rider was immediately destroyed by Carnage. Mangaverse Venom. Venom reappeared with a more monstrous form and mastery over the Shadow Clan amulet's powers. He took control of the Spider Clan and became Peter Parker's mentor. After Peter and Mary Jane left the clan, Venom stayed at the temple. A year later, learning about the multi-dimensional conflict between the Spider Totems and the Inheritors, Venom sent Peter a warning to keep away. Peter misunderstood this warning. Furthermore, influenced by a vision of Aunt May urging him to join the conflict, he insisted on entering the temple. Drawing on the amulet's power, Venom declared that Peter could not enter for the sake of everyone, even if it meant killing him. Before Venom could harm him, multiple spider totems emerged from the temple and ensnared Venom with webs. Using the Shadow Clan's amulet, Venom can transform into a more fearsome form with fangs. He can encase himself in samurai-like armor, project tentacles, and turn his arms into blades. When confronting Peter at the Spider Clan's temple, he wielded a polearm with a mace-like head. Agent Venom. Flash Thompson began as Peter Parker's high school bully, and it was ironic because he idolized Spider-Man. However, over time, he reformed and became friends with Peter during college. He even joined the army and served in Southeast Asia, but struggled to adjust upon returning home. Battling depression and alcoholism, he was manipulated by Norman Osborn into a car accident that left him nearly vegetative. After recovering, he became a gym teacher at his former school. Re-enlisting in the military, Flash earned the Medal of Honor, but lost his legs in the process. He later bonded with the Venom Symbiote to become Agent Venom as part of Project Rebirth 2.0, and even became a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy with his own bunch of alien superheroes. Upon returning to Earth during a conflict between Captain Marvel and Iron Man, he clashed with Miles Morales over Spider-Man's legacy, but was defeated by Miles' Venom Blast. Visiting his mother, Flash investigated strange activities involving Mania in Philadelphia. Mistakenly attacked by Spider-Man, who believed the symbiote was still malevolent, they resolved the misunderstanding and teamed up to confront Mania. Although they contained her symbiote, the Hellmark transferred to Andy, who attempted to kill Flash and claim both symbiotes. Allies arrived with an elixir that neutralized her condition, reuniting Flash with Mania. As Agent Venom, Flash fought crime alongside Mania in New York. The FBI ambushed him with anti-symbiote technology, separating him from Venom, which reverted to its darker nature and abandoned him. Determined to recover the symbiote, Flash learned Mania's symbiote was also stolen. He tracked Venom to Alchemax Tower, discovering it had bonded with Eddie Brock. Confronting Eddie, Flash tried to reclaim Venom. During their struggle, Spider-Man intervened by dousing them with an artificial AntiVenom serum. The serum transformed Flash into a new AntiVenom, reversing his colors. With his new abilities, he removed the Venom symbiote from Eddie, but couldn't bond with it himself. Leaving the symbiote with Bobby Morse, AntiVenom and Spider-Man pursued the Mania symbiote to Black Cat's hideout, finding Felicia Hardy's gang infected by Maniac, the new host. Defeated and nearly killed, they were saved by Andy, who fought using her Hellmark powers. Joined by Black Cat and Eddie Brock, they confronted Maniac at a meeting of crime lords. Using weapons coated with AntiVenom serum, they freed those under Maniac's control. When Maniac grew stronger by absorbing symbiote remnants, they realized those freed were immune to his influence. Spider-Man had Flash's symbiote absorb his blood to gain anti-Maniac properties. Empowered, Flash defeated Maniac. Afterwards, he contacted authorities to detain Maniac and gave Eddie his blessing to keep the Venom symbiote, acknowledging his heroism. Reign Venom. In the 2006 to 2007 miniseries Spider-Man Reign by Perry Andrews, Venom emerges as the primary antagonist. Venom once bonded with Peter Parker during his time as Spider-Man. However, Peter rejected the symbiote due to its corrupting influence, which led Venom to harbor deep resentment towards him. The symbiote later found a new host in Eddie Brock, and together they became long-standing adversaries of Spider-Man. Following the tragic death of Mary Jane Watson, Peter Parker retires from his role as Spider-Man. Seizing this opportunity, Venom devises a plan to take over New York City. Disguised as Edward Sachs, the assistant to Mayor Waters, Venom manipulates events from behind the scenes. Over the years, Venom and Waters establish a harsh police force known as the Reign, with the intention to maintain strict control over the city. To further his agenda, Venom replicates itself thousands of times. 30 years into Spider-Man's retirement, Mayor Waters announces the activation of the Web System, a dome designed to protect New York, but also effectively trapping its residents. When Spider-Man returns to protect J. Jonah Jameson from Reign officers, Venom accelerates his plans. He convinces Waters to release the Sinner Six, formerly the Sinister Six, to eliminate Spider-Man. Unbeknownst to Waters, Venom has implanted nanobombs in the villains to ensure their compliance. As the Sinner Six confront Spider-Man, he is brutally beaten until the deceased Dr. Octopus intervenes, guiding him to Mary Jane's grave. Meanwhile, Jameson suspects foul play and confronts Waters, accidentally discovering Venom's true identity when he attacks Sachs. Revealing itself, Venom consumes those present except for Jameson and Waters, and unleashes his replicated symbiotes onto the city's population, aiming to control every inhabitant. A resistance forms as Jameson's child army uses sound to disrupt the symbiotes. Sandman, initially sent by Venom to quell the uprising, defects upon recognizing his daughter among the rebels. Spider-Man battles his way through the Sinner Six and reaches Venom for a final confrontation. Venom taunts Peter, blaming him for abandoning the symbiote and revealing his plan to consume the entire city. Waters flees in fear after understanding Venom's betrayal. During their intense battle, Venom attempts to overpower Spider-Man by exploiting his grief over Mary Jane. Encouraged by a vision of her, Peter regains his resolve. Sandman sacrifices himself to give Spider-Man a detonator capable capable of destroying the web system. Choosing to continue his fight for justice, Spider-Man activates the detonator. The explosion deactivates the web, freeing the city and ultimately destroying Venom, ending his reign of terror. TRex Venom. One of the most memorable creations from the Old Man Logan storyline is the Venomsaurus Rex, a Tyrannosaurus Rex bonded with the Venom Symbiote. Though its appearance was brief, it became an iconic figure in that universe. A decade later, in the series Old Man Hawkeye, the origin of this Venom-infused dinosaur is finally unveiled. In Wolverine number 69 by Mark Millar and Steve McNiven, the Venom Symbiote is first seen in the deserts of South Dakota, trailing Wolverine and Hawkeye. In issue number 70, it returns, now bonded with a Savage Land T-Rex, and chases the heroes. At the time, they had no idea why the creature was pursuing them and focused on escaping. Old Man Hawkeye, by Ethan Sachs and Marco Cicchetto, reveals that the Venom T-Rex was specifically after Clint Barton, also known as Hawkeye. In issue number 6, Hawkeye is on the run from Jamie Madrox's clones who have merged with the Venom symbiote. Using Multiple Man's abilities, the symbiote replicates into an army of Venoms, all intent on capturing Clint. They catch up to him, and he seeks shelter in Kate Bishop's safe haven. Realizing that the Venoms endanger everyone there, Clint decides to lure them away. To protect the community, Hawkeye drives into the desert, ensuring the Venoms follow him. His plan hinges on attracting one of the dinosaurs imported from the Savage Land that now roam the area. By causing a disturbance, he draws the attention of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. The massive dinosaur attacks, biting into the symbiote. Believing that Venom will no longer trouble anyone, Clint escapes. However, we later learn that the symbiote remains with the T-Rex, leading to the creation of the Venomsaurus Rex encountered years later. This new information recontextualizes a line from Wolverine number 70, where Logan says, "The past only hurts if we let it catch up with us." Originally, this referred to the fall of the world's heroes. Now, it also reflects Hawkeye's past actions coming back to haunt him through the Venomsaurus Rex. Unintentionally, Clint Barton is responsible for the existence of the Venom-bonded dinosaur. Mania. The Mania symbiote, also known as Maniac, originated as a clone of the Venom symbiote. Created by the Ararat Corporation using a fragment of Venom's tongue, the clone was part of Bob's plan to exterminate all life on Earth. Initially, the clone bonded with Patricia Robertson, who controlled it using a cybernetic collar. She intended to use the symbiote to kill Eddie Brock, the original Venom. However, due to Bob's interference, the clone merged back with Venom, enhancing his powers significantly. Despite Bob's scheme, his ultimate goals were never realized. Later on, Flash Thompson bonded with the Venom symbiote and became Agent Venom. While working as a substitute gym teacher in Philadelphia, Flash encountered an attack by Jack-O-Lantern, who tried to kill his student Andy Benton with poison gas. In an attempt to save her, Flash accidentally bonded the symbiote clone to Andy, unaware of its true nature. He later discovered that the Venom symbiote had transferred its demonic hellmark to the clone. Andy adopted the alias Mania and continued to fight crime. When Flash left Earth to join the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Hellmark began to possess her. Upon his return, Flash and his allies provided an elixir that temporarily alleviated her condition. Unfortunately, Lee Price, a former Army Ranger, stole the Mania symbiote from Andy and called himself Maniac. Lee used pieces of the symbiote to control others, aiming to build his own criminal empire. His plans unraveled when Flash Thompson, now AntiVenom, confronted him. Lee was arrested but soon became a target for Carnage, who was collecting symbiote remnants known as codices from former hosts to awaken Null, the god of the symbiotes. Disguised as Eddie Brock, Carnage got himself incarcerated. When Lee tried to intimidate him, Carnage killed Lee and absorbed the Maniac symbiote into his own, destroying its consciousness. Eddie Brock eventually defeated Cletus Cassidy, aka Carnage. The Venom symbiote absorbed both Carnage's and the Mania symbiotes, along with the collected codices, inadvertently releasing Null. Later, the Captive, released by the Structure, resurrected Lee and Mania to lure the Venom symbiote with the intent to consume it, turning Maniac into a zombiote. After the Captive's defeat, an entity named Meridius took control of Lee and Mania. He used them to produce K-44, a substance intended to create more zombiotes. Gwenom. Dr. Elsa Brock developed a new Venom symbiote while researching radioactive spider isotopes created by Cindy Moon, which had previously restored Spider-Woman's powers. Aiming to find a cure for the lizard formula engineered by Peter Parker and Kurt Connors, she exposed this formula to the spider isotopes. The result was an amorphous black symbiotic entity, described as a mutant cousin to the alien spider parasites that initially gave Gwen Stacy her abilities. Matt Murdock, a corrupt lawyer and crime lord, offered this symbiote to Gwen as a means to regain her lost powers and to cure her friend Harry Osborn, who had injected himself with the lizard formula. Gwen refused his offer. When Harry fully transformed into the lizard due to attacks orchestrated by Murdock's ninjas and S.H.I.E.L.D. mercenaries, Gwen injected him with a spider isotope. This caused the serum within him to mutate into the Venom symbiote. Gwen soon discovered that Murdock had lied about her being the sole compatible host when the symbiote bonded with James Howlett. Forced to address this new threat, she teamed up with Shadowcat to confront him. To combat the symbiote effectively, Gwen bonded with it herself, using the song Face It Tiger to temporarily keep it under control. After learning that her father had been brutally attacked by the Rhino on Murdock's orders and was left in a coma, Gwen succumbed to the symbiote's darker impulses. Consumed by a desire for revenge, she transformed into Gwenom and became increasingly ruthless in her pursuit of those responsible. She attacked the Rhino, but before she could kill him, the Punisher intervened. Using a sonic weapon, he separated her from the symbiote and killed the Rhino himself. Furious that her retribution was taken from her, Gwen rebonded with the symbiote and was subsequently framed for the Rhino's murder. Determined to gain full control over the symbiote, Gwen learned how to manage it properly. She transformed it to mimic her original Spider-Woman costume during a final confrontation with Murdock. Later, when Verna of the Inheritors attempted to consume her, the symbiote actively protected Gwen. However, she began experiencing severe headaches, and the symbiote started leaving fragments of itself behind. Seeking answers, Gwen consulted Dr. Brock about the deteriorating condition of the symbiote. The Peter Parker from Earth 616 offered to connect her with Eddie Brock, the Venom of his universe. Instead, he discovered that Gwen's poor nutrition, particularly a lack of cellulose in her diet, was causing the symbiote's instability. He advised her to improve her eating habits to restore the symbiote's health. Venom Pool. Left in charge of Battle Realm by the Collector, Deadpool created Venom Pool, a fusion of himself and the Venom symbiote, during a fake cooking show. Conflicted by his dual nature, Venom Pool escaped and caused chaos across Battle Realm. Deadpool enlisted a summoner's help to stop him before the Collector returned. AntiVenom. AntiVenom first appeared in the 2008 storyline New Ways to Die. Eddie Brock, working at a soup kitchen under Martin Lee, was unknowingly cured of his cancer by Lee's light force abilities. Believing he experienced a miracle, Brock was later attacked by Mac Gargan, the current host of the Venom symbiote. When the symbiote tried to reunite with him, Brock's skin became harmful to it. Remnants of the symbiote within his body merged with special antibodies, influenced by Lee's energy, forming a new white symbiote called AntiVenom. Eddie eventually sacrificed this symbiote to cure people infected by the Spider-Queen's spider virus during the Spider Island event. In the Axis storyline, a new AntiVenom appeared among heroes attending a seminar held by Roderick Kingsley, the original Hobgoblin. It was unclear if this AntiVenom was an actual symbiote or someone wearing a similar suit, though the character's distorted speech suggested a symbiote connection. In Venom Incorporated, the Venom symbiote was captured by the Life Foundation and accidentally exposed to hydrochloric acid, turning it white and granting new abilities like phasing through solid objects. The symbiote escaped and bonded with Flash Thompson, who chose to use it for good, becoming Agent AntiVenom. Those bonded with the AntiVenom symbiote gained superhuman strength, durability, stamina, accelerated healing, and abilities like wall crawling, web shooting, spider senses, and camouflage. The original AntiVenom is immune to fire, heat, and sound-based attacks. It can produce antibodies to cure diseases, radioactivity, and other ailments. Flash Thompson's version can heal physical injuries. However, when near AntiVenom, Spider-Man's powers are nullified due to a failed attempt by the symbiote to cure his radiation-based abilities. May Parker Venom. May Parker, the daughter of Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson, lost her mother to cancer when she was young. After Mary Jane's death, Peter's identity as Spider-Man was revealed, forcing him and May to live under assumed names with assistance from Nick Fury. A year later, the Terrigen Mist mutated nearly all humans on Earth, leading to chaos and the collapse of society. Disheartened, Peter retired as Spider-Man, feeling redundant in a world where everyone had powers. However, May developed abilities similar to her father's and trained with Daredevil to use her spider sense like radar. Peter's old enemies began targeting May. The Venom Symbiote, which had previously bonded with Peter and his adversary Eddie Brock, sought her out. Bearing a grudge against Peter for rejecting it, the symbiote tried to possess May and turn her against him. Instead, May managed to subdue and control the symbiote, becoming the new Venom. She embraced her role as a hero, but this created tension with her father. Peter doubted her ability to control the symbiote and accused her of aligning with the enemy. When the Skull, a teenager who could compel anyone to obey him, assembled an army of enslaved superhumans to attack New York, May prepared to fight him. Peter begged her not to go, but she was frustrated by his reluctance to be a hero again. In battle, the Skull overpowered May and forced her to stay by his side. Seeing his daughter under the Skull's control compelled Peter to resume his role as Spider-Man. He joined forces with Captain America and others to defeat the Skull, freeing May and the other captives. Following these events, May and Peter accepted Luke Cage's offer to join the New York City Police Department. Together, they became police officers, using their abilities to help restore order in a changed world. And that was all in this list of 13 wicked alternate versions of Venom. Do you think you have a suggestion or a correction? You know where to let me know. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.